Call the meeting of the North Highlands Recreation Park District to order. Approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any questions or corrections regarding the minutes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Chairperson's report, I don't have anything. Comments from board members? Does anyone have
Yeah,
comments?
I have one thing. I actually we've been in training the last couple of days, and yesterday we had a presentation from the state controller's office, and a big part of that presentation was special district audits, getting them to the county, getting them to the state. And so they're talking, and so and they mentioned that who is it? CalSACA and CSDA sponsored legislation together and things like this. So I kind of said, yeah, have you guys ever been to CSDA to make a presentation at their conference? And they all, like, there's 6 or 7, they're all at the front table, like, no, that's a great idea. So I'm going to talk to some folks at the conference, and maybe next year they're going to come and talk about different options special districts have, especially the real world small ones. Instead of doing an audit, there's some other things they can do. So I just wanted to share that. It was very entertaining for me. Yep.
All right. Reports from standing committees. So, anyone did their business? Okay.
No, actually, I do have a report.
Sure.
So we actually, on our agenda for our meeting, we actually had 2 items. One has been brought forward to this body for a vote, but the other one, we voted unanimously and concurrence from staff not to put it forward to the full board, which was the statewide community infrastructure program. And we felt at this time it was more beneficial to our builder than to us. And if anybody wants any further information, I can share it, or Larry can share it with you probably in more detail, but we didn't feel like it was something that was going to benefit the district.
Okay. That's it. Okay, Mr. Report. Larry, have anything to highlight?
Sure. Just to remind the board that next Wednesday is going to be our first audit with the new audit firm. Wednesday, Thursday, and it's taken on a whole different flavor from the previous auditor, in the sense that they have been, unlike our previous auditor, this one has been requiring or requesting information, a lot of information up front. And it sounds like they're doing a lot of the groundwork before they actually get here. And Terry's been able to provide them all the documentation that they requested. But it is their first time, so it may take a little longer the first time. But that's scheduled for next Wednesday, Thursday, if possible. Let you know how it goes.
Anyone have any questions for Larry? Okay, Scott?
Yeah, just one thing to add to my original report. That would be some resource material on your sheets there on the, if you recall back in the line, we talked about the statewide healthy play funding initiative. And it's a great grant opportunity between CPRS, Play Core, Game Time. Attended a training session back, it was on July 11th. And then the application process involved writing a 1 to 2,000 word essay and providing some basic information on the district. So when you have a chance, you can read the essay that we submitted. Also, I included some flyers on the type of equipment that we use as the basis for our request and the grant. So you'll see the More for All structure. That's what they call an inclusive play structure. It's for kids of all abilities. Also, there's some add-on things that we talked about wanting to add. The swings with the expression feature, which basically means a toddler or a child can sit in these swings with a parent in front of them and provide a connection between parent and child while they play. And then the last thing we talked about adding to our our new playground would be the discovery table. You can see the last picture there with the green table and benches. It's got a tactile surface for kids that can relate to that. And we also, those kind of things will be placed under a play structure to create a quiet, cozy spot for kids when they get a little bit overwhelmed with all the noise that the playground can generate. Well, I'm happy to tell you that we got a phone call yesterday from Stephanie Stevens, the executive director of CPRS, that we were 1 of 15 selected to earn the grant. So,
Congratulations. Thank you.
thank you. It's going to get fun now because it's a very, very accelerated pace. I think I mentioned when I presented you back last month that the equipment will need to be purchased by November 15th. Installation they want complete with photos and documentation prior to the CPRS conference down in Long Beach in March. So we've got roughly 5-6 months to
Pretty accelerated.
come up with the funding to buy the stuff. The nice thing is, now that we've been selected, there's a design consultant that will come in and work with us on a professional design of the park and how we want to go about getting this thing built. This is a matching grant, and they'll basically match 100%. So the schematic we put together, I think total was about $115,000. So 67.5 of that would be covered by the grant, 67.5 would be covered by us. It does not include installation or servicing, so there would be some other costs, but we're basically looking at a brand new playground for about half the cost it would be under normal conditions. And we made a very conscious decision to identify Street Park as the beneficiary of this, because as you recall, Larry did a lot of work in putting together a TOT grant through the county to fix up the clubhouse at Street, also the parking lot is in need of repair. So we kind of pitched this as a chance to create a brand new street park. And so we're super excited about this opportunity, and we feel very confident about the Sacramento County grant as well. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to take, it's going to be very, very fast. We'll come back to you next month with some options. I don't want to speak for Larry, but more formal approval, where our funds can come from, and how we'll go about getting it put in order to deliver it and all that stuff.
Thank you, Scott.
If I could add to that, so Scott didn't tell you is that our grant came from an area, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, from I think the Northern California, Oregon border all the way down to San Mateo. We were the only one who received the grant in between that. So, and a great appreciation to Scott. He put a lot of time and effort into this grant, and we're going to end up getting another new playground out of this, a very nice playground, and we're going to basically get it for half the cost. So we would normally have to pay the installation anyhow. So, and like Scott said, it's a very accelerated process. So likely what we're going to do is come back at the December meeting to do a financial transfer of funds from reserves into the appropriate accounts, because he has to order, the equipment has to be ordered shortly after that. So by sometime, well, the conference is normally held in March, right? So we have to have this thing done by March, so it's going to go fast. But again, special appreciation to Scott. He ran with this, he did a great job with it.
Is December going to be enough time? Or should that be maybe?
Actually, probably have to be November.
Yeah.
Not to correct you.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to order by the 15th of November.
Right, okay.
What did I say, December?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I just started figuring this out, and it's like, that doesn't sound like it's going to work.
And as just a follow-up, since Scott mentioned the TOT grant, TOT grant, I don't know what's going on with the county. They finally contacted me after I reached out to them 3 different times, because they told us before they would let us know in early September if we received or what the next step was. And I heard from them 2 days ago that there is a committee that reviewed all the applications, and they forwarded their recommendations to the county board of supervisors, and the response was, we'll let you know when they're ready to make a decision. So
Can you get a copy of the recommendations?
I doubt they would give that to the
Public Records Act request.
They probably could argue sometime that yeah, not at this point.
Just checking.
Yeah, I would say, just have a cross out for our names that
Well, I mean, if it's going to the board, it's got to be posted on the board website in advance, so we'll get a general idea.
Yeah. And just one more thing, and I don't want to speak too much to it, but we've been running two simultaneous recruitments for positions, as you are aware, for the recreation supervisor and the maintenance supervisor, facility supervisor. We just conducted second interviews today with the recreation supervisor, and Scott's going to be doing a little bit of homework soon next week to. We've narrowed it down. We actually have very, very talented people on both. We have choices. We have very good choices. Unless a bunch of them drop out at the last second, I think that we're going to come away with some really talented folks on both ends. And certainly, as soon as we make a decision, we won't wait till the next board meeting. We'll let you know, and then the next board meeting likely to have them come to the meeting and introduce themselves to the board.
Perfect.
And thanks for the referral.
Oh, thank you. I'm hoping that the administrator of the CPRS, who grew up in the area, had maybe some influence on it too.
Yeah, that is significant input on it.
Yeah.
It's exciting for North Highlands. I'm super pleased with the community.
Yeah.
You know, 1 to 15 throughout the state is very.
Yeah, that's incredible. Thanks for all the work. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I do. I see here someone got hurt.
Yes.
Did we do a follow, do we usually do a follow-up the next day? Make sure?
Extensive, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both, it was actually a program Mark supervises, and he was all over it. So.
Okay, I was just.
He might speak better to that, but.
Just a little note I had
Just so
there.
you work out, when we have an accident or an incident, there's certain time requirements that we have with Capri to notify them and to let them know. So, the information is fresh to them, they can be aware that they may be getting some additional information right away on it. So we actually have pretty strict guidelines that we have to follow.
Oh, okay, yeah, I wasn't sure, so I figured that was be time to ask. And then another thing I had written down here, obviously with our tree limb issues that we're having, do we have a particular contractor that we go through that we call up and say, hey, I got tree limb here?
We use,
So they give us like a break, a discount?
well, we primarily use Tree Tech. They've been very responsive and very easy to work with us. We're on a good communication level with them. A couple of these breaks, one a couple months ago and then the one last month, we had to treat as emergency removals. And those are a little bit more expensive, but I think they kind of even give us a bit of a break on the emergency rate, which would be $350 an hour.
Right. Oh, trust me, my mom just had water underneath her house. I know what that is.
So, and as a quick follow-up, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know Mark has something he wants to talk about, but we had talked about a more proactive tree plan, and we set that work up, and that'll take place in early October. So I'll be able to come back to you at the October meeting and share with you, the punch list that we'll create with Tree Tech, and the work they're going to do to hopefully stop these things from happening in the future by being more proactive.
Well, I know a huge branch fell on the property behind me into our yard, and it literally took a week and a half to get somebody out there. And I know we can't wait like that.
Well, we scheduled a routine removal probably back in late June, and August 15th was the day that they came out and did it, so. It's just,
Yeah, but I'm saying for an emergency, if they're willing to come out.
yeah, it's almost worth the money to spend, it's unfortunately we have to.
Yeah, I know.
But, it's better to get it out there in the season.
Yeah. Oh, I think Mark's out of time.
Anyone else have any questions of Scott?
I'll turn it over.
Okay.
You're fine.
You're asking all the questions.
Okay. So as we kind of talked about the last couple of months, the district has a brand new website that we've been trying to update. I don't know if you guys remember the old website that we had. It was outdated, to say the least. The new website, has anyone had a chance to look at it yet? Not to go explore it?
I was just showing my my daughter, her grandsons on this over the weekend. It's very nice.
Thank you. So with this website, we wanted to make this more customer friendly. I think our old one was difficult to get through. So there's different, we have different tabs at the top. The white background as well, it just makes it easier for people to read. Our old website had so many different colors, and with the font screen so dark, you couldn't really read it, and it was hard to navigate it. So if you go through here, the first one we're gonna have a white screen across. This will be updated every other week with new banners going across, so it's going to be more updated. Where before we did it probably once every 3 months, maybe every 6 months.
So who's going to be responsible for that?
That's me.
Oh, good, lucky you.
In your script,
That's what I'm asking.
It's fun. That's actually really fun to do. It's good. But then we'll have direct links to register, return of parks, facilities, special events. And then you'll see at the very bottom here too. We want to be more transparent. So for you guys in the board, you have like pictures of board members. All
Does he have this picture yet?
that's
We
it.
do.
Oh, good.
Yes, he
Trust me, that's the
does.
first thing I looked at, where am I?
This Steve out here. This will be at the bottom of every screen. It also kind of personalizes our website.
Right.
So people when they go to it will know. So for example, we'll go straight to the board. And that's honestly the most important.
So do we kind of have a new logo then?
This is the one they actually took this off of our website. We want them to kind of mirror each other.
Okay.
So our advertising and marketing is the same.
Okay.
And so you can see the traffic. It is we have tried to make it more interactive, put more pictures on it. Same thing, agendas meetings. Another part of also being trying to be as transparent as possible. Use the agendas, and minutes will be everyone who's approved. And also the one also, you'll notice on our website, we try to make it as easy as possible for people to register for our programs. So they're always going to have an option to do it on the right side. If you go to our parks, I'm just going to click on one park, we'll just click on Chardonnay. Every park here will have its own personalization to it. To kind of show what our parks look like. I'm scrolling going across, they have an idea of what they're going into and show up. Each page will tell you descriptions of where it is, what you have there, different pictures. Majority of the pictures are all current from what I've been here.
Yes, you list of amenities too, right?
It also lists amenities on it as well. And then we have the park map. You guys will see that in your rec guide. This is the one component that's still not completed. And this will be done sometime next week. They're still kind of working on our website. This is going to be interactive. So if I scroll over to this right here, this is K-Park. I can click on it, and it'll take me to that link where K-Park is, so people can now match it back and forth instead of having to say, here's where it is. They can actually go over that way. Facility rentals is another thing we're trying to hype up. So community center. You'll have pictures of where our community center is. People can actually visually see it. The most common calls we got is, what does it look like inside your facility? Because we didn't have that before. We could see the outside, we didn't have the inside. Hopefully this is going to give a good estimation of what they get into. And then they can see our rental policies down here, what it holds, online packets. They can click on that to register. So they can actually see it, so they don't have to have Cindy email to them every time, or they don't have to go to our office to pick it up. We're just trying to make it a lot more functional for everybody who's going to our programs. Swim team is going to have its own page. So the Dolphin swim team here is one of our favorite programs, and we kind of revolves around with the board meetings and stuff. This will tell like when the next program is going to start. Message from the head coach. Stuff like that, so we can keep people coming back to it all the time. Board members, and we'll actually update that throughout the year as we go on. The last thing I kind of want to show you.
I noticed you had a PDF for the guide too.
Yeah, the PDF is
That's
we'll
very
be
good.
able to revolve through it and look you through it. It's like esports. This is a good example of really what we want to obtain. So our old website, if you click on a sport, you read the text and all that stuff. You didn't have to click on our online registration tab to figure out a way to get there. Right here now, we click the link. And so when I click on this register link right here, it now takes me directly to Pee Wee Flag Football. I don't have to go through the whole website to be able to find it.
Right.
It's a direct link to it now. So hopefully we can get more people to register that way. And every single program has that. If you go through to, they're all personalized to each program. Another even between our sports or youth sports. These are direct links to the schedules that we can create on our ActiveNet website. And there are two websites that are going to pair well with each other. We're going to make them work together, as opposed to here's one, you work your way through it. Everything else now is very functional and allows us to update it. So this is like a little hassle to do. Teams can come here and check it out, so forth, and check out standings. It really makes helps. It also draws more people to our website on a daily basis. You come look at where there's standings. And social that's the same thing. It's a lot of it's very functional. They can see it. Direct links to how to get a hold of us. So we have a community yard sale coming up here. People want to apply for it. They actually have an application or anything, just click on it. We're trying to just make it more customer friendly. And then jobs. One thing I didn't like about our old website was it was difficult for people to download applications, how to find jobs. Here now, this current job openings, here we have, obviously we can remove that next, but we give different options of how to do it. We're trying to make this as easy as possible for all of us. And we'll click on this real quick, because I think this is kind of what I alluded to.
Right.
This is our rec guide. Now, which probably you guys will have, and they can scroll through it, they can see it. And about 1 week, 2, we're going to make this rec guide where it's clickable. So when I go through our rec guide, they'll actually be able to click on this and then send it to our ActiveNet website, so they can register through this, just in case they want that option as they go.
So when you do that, can you have it so they click on Miss Richards' name or home phone number pops up?
Yeah, that's coming up here real soon.
We limited this yet.
The whole point is just trying to get as transparent and as modern as possible, and just make it as easy as possible. Going through a lot of this different websites, I took a lot of different websites throughout the area, took what I liked about them, and then tried to apply it to our website. Our website kind of more or less mirrors our recreation, but it has twists of different recreation park districts and everything else. It's kind of, one thing we just want to keep up, just keep it modern, keep it simple. Message from the administrator, so here's Larry, smiling, telling everybody that the district. He's going to update this while he says every word.
Yeah.
The key, I think, with the whole website was we didn't keep it fresh, we didn't keep it modern, we didn't keep it updated. So when people come to it, they look at the exact same thing every time they came, they couldn't tell we actually did change something. So every 2 weeks, we're going to be trying to update our website with new imagery, so people actually go to our website and they'll feel like they're actually getting new information as opposed to.
So you have full access to manage the whole thing? Or, okay.
Well, so I send like all the information to our website.
Okay, so,
pages,
okay.
and they'll put what I want on there.
Okay, so you still have to use the web designer?
You still use the website. But I can update everything on ActiveNet, I actually update on that,
Okay.
that component. But this part is all.
So the other thing, suggestion, if you need new park photos, Mr. Smith has a cute little daughter, she can be coming down the slide or.
Yeah, it's the next record. Wow.
And I think she probably liked that a lot, so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Two things that go along with this. You have a copy of the current activity guide in front of you. Now, that comes out 3 times a year, and as you know, when you get mail at home, things stay fresh for a day or two until the new mail comes in, and then it replaces this, and this before it was buried under some magazines, and all of a sudden it's thrown in the garbage, it's gone.
Right.
If it's gone, it's still available to the public. So when they come and say, I didn't get a copy of the recreation activity guide, instead of have Cindy go back and make photocopies of the only one we have left, we can just direct them out to the website, say everything's right there. The second thing too is I think it was a nice surprise to Mark and I when we had interviews last week for the recreation supervisor position. I don't know how many of them told us that they said they went on our website and it looked like this today, and then they went on it the next day, they go, and everything had changed. So we could tell who was actually paying attention and who was doing some research on us, because they knew those things, because it was actually happening, it was in progress, for 2 or 3 days, and they knew what changes were happening every day to it. So we thought, well, that's good, that these people are paying attention, and they noticed that there's changes happening.
It washed like the blue the next day. So that was the day before, so that everybody thought it was like a test, like we were testing like. We created a website. So like, oh, okay, I should really definitely know about this. Another thing I want to mention to you guys as well is Freedom Park is another one of our big revenue makers. So common question we get from them is, what's available, or how do we find what's available at the park? This right here is the equipment. If you check availability, it takes my directing website and see where everything is, it can have a date. So we think that's going to be a big resource and big help for people.
So if one of those is already booked for a certain day, it'll tell them.
It'll tell exactly what's up.
That's very cool.
And just, if you guys haven't already noticed, we aren't running this off a hotspot. The recreation center now has internet, has Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So it is a community center, and we're hoping that that will also help boost rentals.
Okay.
Because we used to get calls saying, hey, we want to host a little mini conference here.
But you have Wi-Fi.
We got to use your Wi-Fi to set it up and say, if you don't have Wi-Fi, you can create an incredible hotspot. You guys want to do that, but now we have Wi-Fi here, Wi-Fi there, and hopefully that makes a big impact.
Is it password protected?
Password protected, so we're going to create a temporary password every time we come in.
Okay, so if someone's outside in the middle of the night, you can't use it.
No, so for example,
Yeah, nice try, Mr. Smith.
we had a rental here yesterday. Point Break was doing a big presentation for Futures in their under building. They actually used our Wi-Fi, so we created a temporary password for them. And that was over, and went back in and changed the password to what is the temporary password that we know. They don't know that. So nobody, even a Joshua can't use our Wi-Fi. Yes, that's completely protected.
So I don't want to sit there and have all staff pat themselves on the back, but I think you could have seen this, most of you maybe Pat was here a year and a half or so ago, but a little over a year ago, the only way you could sign up for recreation programs was physically, basically to come into the building. And remember, we're not open on weekends, we close at 5 o'clock. If you work out of the area, it was very restricted, very limited how you can do that. As Mark said, if you wanted to rent a picnic site, you could call on the phone, we would tell you what's available, but you know what? You still got to come down here physically.
It might not be available, but
Right. You want to sign up for all our programs and activities, you want to see our indoors, our facilities indoors, you couldn't do that back then. Now you can. And so when I talked to the board not that long ago, we need to kind of modernize the district. We need to move the district into 21st century a little bit. And staff has done a great job of doing that. And this is just a start because, the old dinosaur days when I was a programmer like Mark, we relied on this activity guide to mail out to households, stack at the library, and wait for the customers to come see us. There was no online registration. There was none of this stuff. And now our district has quickly moved into the arena. We still have a long ways to go. We're just tapping the surface of the different types of things. And we actually heard that loud and clear through our interviews with the recreation candidates about, asking them what type of, outreach do you do to get people to notice your programs and your facilities and who back in, Alan, you and I are about the same age, back in our days could say that, well, we use social media. Well, social media.
Right.
The whole idea is that your physical activity guide, this activity guide, these are going to be a piece of the pie. It's not going to be what we rely on. When I first came here, I remember there was discussion about the signboard. To be honest with you, that signboard is obsolete.
Oh, sure.
Well, first of all, you have to physically stop in front of it to be able to catch something. Because if you're coming this way, a tree blocks it. If you're coming this way, you can't see it at a certain angle, and if the sun's shining on it a certain way, you can't see it at all. And so at some point in the future, we may want to look at revisiting it. Do we want to modernize that, or do we just say, let's just keep on using it and hope it has some benefit to it?
It works all the time now, so.
It does work. My very first meeting here, before you hired me, it was discussion about when was the signboard going to work, and you talked about getting cables installed. I remember that.
Did the rest.
But anyway, I don't need to rattle on and off, but I want to give Mark
Just to clarify, you know how much we pay for that signboard, right?
a lot of money. Zero? Oh,
What
okay.
was it done?
Zero.
So anything we get is a bonus.
Yeah.
But I do want to, like Scott with the grant, I want to thank Mark. Mark had ran with this thing, he was just waiting for my approval and for the board to approve the funding and the budget. And I think he's done a great job with it, and I think we're just starting to tap, the different methods of getting North Highlands out to the public and to the community. I think we're gonna, a year from now, I may be talking about these things as almost being obsolete. Things are moving so fast, so appreciation to Mark for doing a great job.
So, kind of a question, Mark, don't listen to this. So is Mark kind of a techie geek in closet, you know?
He's younger,
Man, he's younger, come on.
Well, I would say for here, yes.
He's not as techy as he gets around.
I tend to use other words, but I've been told I shouldn't really repeat the words I use with Mark.
Okay, so
because
when are we gonna
techie
go
may
on
not be a
Twitter?
word.
So, I created a Twitter account back for the district today. Twitter, I don't think is the right,
Yeah.
it's not the right perspective for instance.
It's not.
We're not breaking news or anything else. Facebook is probably.
We don't want to be breaking news.
Yeah, no, we don't want to be breaking news. We don't follow Twitter to get that information from Parks.
So I take it along with registering, you have some type of PayPal thing on there as well, so you can do the whole thing at once?
For wait.
Like, if I want to register my kids for swimming.
It has its own
So I can-
registration system.
so I
It
can-
has its own registration, so you can put your own credit
Get
card.
your credit card out, we can take care of that for you.
What's that?
Can they use PayPal?
No, we don't accept PayPal.
Okay, might be something to look
Have
into.
we thought about that or not?
It's not, ActiveNet would not allow PayPal to go through their separate
Okay.
accounts.
Because seriously, a lot of sites I won't use unless they take PayPal. I
Really?
like putting my own.
So even if you went to like a city or recreation site, not ours, and you had credit.
It's not, I'm just worried about getting hacked my credit card information.
Oh, okay.
Especially now what happened.
I'm not
Equifax.
I'm not aware of any Parks and Recreation.
No, I've never heard of it either.
Other than traditional credit cards.
But last week I never heard about a
It
credit.
makes it so much easier.
Thank you.
You don't have to go and
The
find the
thing
credit
they
card.
talked about, the freeze,
You know,
We've had
we've had the
they
freeze
do
for
it right
10
then.
years.
You know, there's no, they don't say,
Because
oh,
my wife's got a credit card stolen out of her purse.
If it's possible, it'd be good, but it's not possible, we can't do it.
It's an interesting
You did a
idea.
great job.
No, I think that website, like I said, I was on it last week and it's phenomenal. I'm not a computer guy at all. I got fat
Yeah.
stubby fingers and man, I was getting through things and
It was-
showing my daughter, hey, look at this and this. And no, it was very well done.
It was really fun. It was probably one of the projects I wanted to take on when I first came to the district a long time ago, to create a new website, and we were going through the ledger and everything else, and we were just in management base. And Scott, there was our website even before our one before that was even, that was.
If our previous one was dinosaurs, the one before that was dinosaur eggs. I mean, it was just.
So do we have a counter, a hit counter on it?
We'll get that at the end of each month.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll be very interesting to see like how many people we have joined to our website.
So I can make it real good. I can just keep hitting it 100 times a day. Say, damn, you did a hell of a job.
Actually, that really does help. So the more hits we do have, so let's say somebody types in swim team, they're from the Sacramento area, Google's on, is smart enough to know they're looking for a swim team in Sacramento. Ours is in that area.
Move up the
It would
list.
pop up the list.
Yeah.
So
So
the
then
more
they'll contact
more
us and
hits
say,
you get.
whoever Pat Williams is, he contacted 673 times.
Hey, wife like better.
Just don't click on the board
Well,
page.
one person, when I went to revenue school, was one in Virginia Beach. What they do is all their homepages for the website for all their employees is their district, is their own website. So it gets them a hit every time they turn on their website. So Virginia Beach, no matter what you type in, has so many hits that it's at the very top of each page. So instead of like Googling your homepage, it's Virginia Beach, and boom, it's an automatic hit,
Right.
automatic hit, automatic hit, and then
So
also
you
goes.
guys changing your homepage?
We haven't done that.
You can just nowadays just search in the URL box anyway.
Yeah, it's amazing how it actually works, but it's a common practice in this for Virginia Beach. Then one last thing too, I didn't get a chance to mention, but so Diane, thank you again for donating the Happy Ever Laughter performance to the Raccoon Club. It was to say it was at the highlight of the school year would be an understatement. They were fantastic,
Really?
entertaining for.
How did she get that?
Facebook.
So
Is
basically,
that a contest?
Yeah.
It was easy.
She wins stuff
There's a
all the
contest.
time.
I only won 3 prizes today, but anyway. Yeah.
Someone's got to win.
But it was lunch and I saw this, and I don't know if I saw it through like Macaroni Kid or something
Yeah.
like that. And so, okay, so they said, oh, we'd like to see a school. I said, well, I have this, my park district does an after-school program for local school district, and boom, she private messages me. And I'm going like, oh, I wouldn't be the one, she wanted to talk to me, and I said, no, I'm on the board. I can't make people change the programming, but you can call my friend Mark. And she called you right
She called me before I got your email. And so
Yeah,
she called and said,
exactly.
hey, you won a contest. And I was like, I thought at first it was scam. And then she told me it was, she said, I spoke to Diane. And I was like, oh, okay.
So Ford is giving away some Ford trucks.
Yeah, no, the district is a truck.
Oh, send them a
It
link.
was comment there, a magician, is that
Well,
what
what was it exactly?
It was,
Magician.
they're like, they have magicians, so they're like, they dress up as fairies. So they do, balloon twisting and, magic tricks and storytelling,
You
depending
went out to
on.
school to do that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it's-
come, so they,
Yeah.
earlier in the week, they still had one more that they wanted to give away. It's just
It was
what,
worth it. They're very entertaining. They come out dressed up as fairies, and they have like the little pixie dust, and they have like the kids, and they run through like little, they turn them all into fairies, and it sounds unusual. It was definitely.
if you are, less than 10, that's pretty cool.
What about a 5th grade class?
See?
You actually can't have, they have to be 4th grade classes or
Darn it.
younger.
And they didn't say that, I go, but I
Yeah,
knew
forward,
Raccoon
man.
Club did
Yeah,
that.
you try to get good with,
No, they do
There
good.
you go.
So they call it happy ever after, is that?
Happily ever laughing.
Laughter. I'm gonna have to.
Maybe I need to send since I have your email and everything, I'll send you the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they said, look out, because they want to give away some more later.
Sacramento County?
No, they're originally in like Santa Cruz. Yeah, so they're expanding out. I don't know if they had any in Los Angeles, so yeah.
Next come out to school and do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can have them come to a private event too. Yeah.
I got a first grader and TK, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
So I got 9th graders, they might act like 3rd graders.
A lot of it is
I
good.
don't know if that counts,
Yeah.
I bet they love it.
Oh, they could have a
Homecoming's coming
creative,
up, man, homecoming,
a creative field day with that. I can see that. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
I just had a comment, I think sitting here, seeing what's going on, it's an honor to sit here, it really is. And Larry, hats off to you, the crew. See what Scott's done, 1 of 15 is that's remarkable. And then to go ahead and see Mark and updating this, I'm excited. I'm excited to go on the net. I'm not even a net guy. I hate net. I hate social media. I don't like any of that stuff, man. But I'll tell you what, seeing what he's got up there makes it a real honor to sit here and see things going forward, which is what I think some of these guys have been here in the North Island community a long time, really admire the work that you've done. So hats off to you. So Larry might not want to pat you on the back, but I certainly do. And I just want to say, hey, thank you. Thank you. I think it's well deserved.
I try to limit the amount of compliments because then
Why not get that done?
the hat doesn't fit their head anymore.
Well, no, I mean, I've been on this board a long time, and I've seen board members that are great and others that aren't so much, and I've seen staff the same way. We've had some great staff, we've had some that are just mediocre, but I mean, we've got good staff now, and it makes it much easier, our job, and just so you guys know that.
Cool, thanks, Alan.
And we're hiring some more good ones.
a very lucky community, that's all I can say. Thank you. Oh, Terry. Okay, Terry wanted to pass. Okay,
Well, kudos for Terry for getting ready for the new audit, because
yes.
I know how it is switching firms, because they're gonna look at things completely different from what, and it is a lot of work for you, and I totally get that.
And we have to run some reports.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
All right, anyone else have any comments? All right, comments and reports from citizens and organizations. Everybody must be at Sue Frost meeting, it's at the library, so we'll give everyone a 5 this month. Okay, unfinished business then. New business, district park facility and recognition naming policy. So, is Larry gonna take this one, or the committee gonna take this one?
Exactly.
Okay.
So previous to now, we have not had a naming policy. And we haven't had a new park in quite some time, so we haven't really needed a naming policy, but obviously we are getting a new park, and so we thought, I think Larry thought, that it was a good time to actually create a policy for this naming and future namings. But it doesn't just apply to parks, it can be for recreation facilities, buildings, as well as park features, whether it's a tree or a bench, something like that. So basically, any names that we do select, the districts, we're going to mandate that it needs to have a geographical, natural, or historical criteria identified with the area. So we can't, we're not going to name it Texas Park because that has nothing to do with North Highlands. When someone in the community wants our park to be named a certain thing, we recommend that they share that with us. We encourage the suggestions. Those need to be made in writing to the district administrator. And then also, if we want to name it after a person, we can do that as long as they've made major contributions to the community, country, or parks and rec in general. District is going to have final authority for naming parks. And so then we also wanted to add in a way for not just parks, but smaller things like trees or benches to be named. So that is F here. And so if the public wishes to recognize a family or community member through a tree, a bench, something like that, they can do that. That is up to the discretion of the board. So they need to make that, they need to reach out to us to talk to us about that, and we have final approval over that. And then G, I really like, because it gives us the right to name a site, structure, or parkland for a special reason or circumstance. So basically, this focuses us in what we can do to name a park, but also gives us some flexibility, and it really works as a guide. So I think after talking it over, Pedro and I both support this. Are there any questions? Yes, Alex.
So,
I knew it.
So looking at G where it says the board of directors, but then every place else it says the district. What's the difference between, how's the district defined in this point? Is it staff? Is it us? Because, I mean, since one says the board of directors, everything else says the district. I'm just trying to clarify who has what? What's the district defined as?
Obviously, the board of directors are the final say-so in naming of anything here.
Okay.
So what we can do is go back and just clean up the language and just be, so it's consistent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Refer to it as the
Okay.
board of directors.
Okay.
Yeah, but then that's a good point, because district provides a more broader perspective than the
Correct.
board of directors limits it to 5 people.
Okay.
Just something else I just want to add to that. That was a very good presentation, Zach. It caught, I think, all the key points. Most places that I've worked at, if not all places I've worked at, have a very strong, make a very strong effort to look at naming their facilities. People relate to a name of something. Example, this room. We call this room the recreation room, the board meeting room, the whatever you want to call it. It has different names, but if you named it the Alan Matre room, then that's the name.
hell?
But I would encourage the board to, as time goes on, really start taking a look at some of our major facilities, because we start with major ones and we start drilling down to the smaller things like the benches. Like if somebody were to make a donation for a playground or something, we might want to, consider naming it after that person who made that. But it's, it's an interesting point. I think Scott brought it up to me a while ago, and I didn't even pick up on it. When you come into the parking lot, where you come in, do you see anything out there that says North Highlands Recreation and Park District? You see a building that says Community Center on it.
Right.
You see a signboard that advertises programs. We aren't even named, we're not even giving ourselves the recognition so people can, because a lot of times we want in the community center, we have to rarely hear that they call us by our name. So one of the things why it's not a naming policy necessarily, I'll be coming back to the board sometime in the near future with having a very nice entry sign that can be seen going both ways on Wyatt Avenue and seen coming, Freedom Park toward it. And have it so it's lit up at nighttime so people can see it. It's a very hard building to find at nighttime if you haven't been here before.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I would encourage the board to really look strongly at facilities that maybe are not currently named, and if there are people, whether they're past employees, past board members, or other community members who have made a contribution to the community, consider looking at maybe including those as options for naming our facilities. Because people really relate to the name of a facility, not the community center. I think we probably could do better. And I do actually want to give credit to Alan, because I think Alan said something 6-9 months ago about the new park. And
What are we gonna name?
what are we gonna name it? What are we gonna, or I think it was, we're not naming that thing Alberta Park, are we? Alberta Park at Alberta Park. And that's what we talked about. No, we certainly have the naming ability to name the facility. And that might be one of your first ones, as I mentioned in the staff report. By next spring, they're going to start breaking ground, hopefully, if not by summer, and talking to Silverado Homes as they update their brochures and information they're handing out to the public. They want to be able to say, this is Joe Schmo Park, or whatever it is we want to call it. So they can do this, so they don't, put to be named later.
The future park.
The future park, right? So, I'm glad we have, hopefully we'll have a policy by then tonight, and then we start utilizing that policy. But thank you to, you two gentlemen for helping out with this. It was not a short meeting. We talked a lot about this particular one quite a bit.
Does anyone else have any questions?
I was waiting to see if one of them were gonna make the motion since it was their committee, so.
I'll make a motion to approve policy 2360, district park facility and recognition naming policy.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, policy manual update, policy 3130 inventories. So, board action to approve staff recommendation to eliminate and remove policy 3130 inventory from the policy manual. So this one didn't go to the committee, it's just.
No, this went to committee.
No, this is Ellen.
Yeah, this went to committee.
Okay.
And so, as the chair, I'll take this. So it was brought to our attention that we had kind of sort of duplicative policies. One was called inventory, one was called capital assets. But the capital assets one kind of included the inventory in there too. And I kind of remember, and if I remember correctly, Larry, we don't know exactly when the capital assets was approved or, yeah. But I remember bringing this up way back when, so it was sometime in the last 20 years when I've been here, but it never got dated on when it was updated. But at that point, we should have looked at inventory as policy 3130. And we also noticed that 3115 wasn't consistent with other policies where it didn't have, like the first paragraph, 3115.1, next one, 0.2. So you can see that's been written in, and that will be in the final version. I don't know if there's a reason to go through all the details of this. If anybody has any questions, and hopefully you got a look at it.
I just think one thing to point out, Alan, is that the capital assets, the capital assets 3115 provides a much broader scope and coverage on
Right.
lots more areas.
Detail, yeah.
And while some of it's duplicated inventory, some of it conflicts with inventory. And what this policy, the broader one, 3115, gives the district far more leeway, where the other one was very restrictive and outdated.
So, and I notice in here we have policy 3115.1 is going to be renumbered now.
Yeah, only because we're,
Yeah, because we're going to be using, should that be its own policy number? Because, I mean, are we gonna, 3117, and then if we want to do .1, .2 for those down like that, or not?
you know, I thought about that.
I mean, it's all different definitions within fund balance is what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it says page 83 in your packet.
Right.
Yeah, what Alan's suggesting is the same thing I did for the previous policy, was actually assign numbers to it. And that might be either, because rather than just say, hey, go to page 83 or
Right.
3117, now you can say go 3117.3 or 0.5. So we can do that as well.
Okay, that's fine.
So tonight, are we only,
Well, we're actually kind of doing two
two
things.
things as well?
We're removing 3130,
Okay,
and we're then saying 3115 now has .1, .2, so it's being changed, modified a little bit.
okay, so we're gonna.
And then 3117,
18,
yeah.
So,
We'll do the same
okay.
So, I'll go ahead and make a motion to delete policy 3130 and update 3115 and 3117 as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, do you have any further questions, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Payment of the bill, so does it? Yeah.
I don't have questions, Louis.
Okay, so.
I learned it first time. So they're perfect.
I didn't realize how much you spent on brochures. Well, that's quite the investment.
Pretty is worth
It
it.
prints out about 9,500.
Yeah. So imagine over time, the website will save us money on that.
Oh, yeah.
I think these look good. I make a motion to approve them.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion. It's good to me.
Any more questions or further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The next regular meeting of the North Highlands Recreation Park District with the Board of Directors will be on October 12, 2017 at 6:30 p.m. in the North Highlands Recreation Center, 6040 Watt Avenue, North Highlands. This meeting is